Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? I am with you today to share this really fun project for this adorable little box. It holds a pack of Nutter Butters, the king size, 8 cookies, and it is a really easy and fun project to make. I'm going to show you how to do that. And let me show you the inside. I use this really cute ribbon, which is our metallic woven ribbon in colors. This is Tahitian Tide, is the color that I chose to use. And on the inside of our box, we have a little surprise. This cute little mouse is saying, what a happy day, of course, because he's getting Nutter Butters, right? And I had to use Nutter Butters because don't these little peanuts that you can die cut out that have this adorable embossing look just like a Nutter Butter cookie? That's without any shading or anything. I cut them out of crumb cake and I think they look adorable. So that's what's on the inside of our cute little box. So let's go ahead and get started and I will teach you how to make this project. I'm just going to lay it over here in the corner. I'm using the Elephant Parade stamp set and dies. It's part of a bundle you can purchase together. And then I added the stylish shapes. I love all shapes and I highly recommend that you work your way through the catalog getting shapes one die set at a time. This one is a great die set. I used it for the banner end at the bottom, for the circle on the inside and the circle on the outside. So that is also a great addition to add to your project. All right, so of course, when we make a box, what do we use, guys? The Simply Score tool. We know that that is our main piece. And we're using a piece of real red cardstock. And it is 8.5 by 9.5 inches. So we are going to score it on the long and the short side. And this is the 9.5 inch side. So we are going to score that. Let me make sure that it all fits in camera. I'm gonna slide this up. You're not gonna be able to see the website name, but I want you to see the whole sheet of paper. So on the long side, which is the 9.5 inch side, we're gonna score at 1/2 inch all the way down. We're also gonna score at 2.5 inches and at 7.5 inches. Okay, so 3 score marks: 1/2 inch, 2.5, 7.5. 1, 2, 3. Now we're gonna rotate and we are gonna score at 1/2 inch on the short side. This is the 8.5 inch side. So 1/2 inch all the way down at 2.5 inches, all the way down at 4.5 inches, all the way down, and at 6.5 inches. Okay, so 1/2 inch, 2.5, 4.5, 6.5. That's down the short end. And let's go ahead and move our Simply Scored out of the way. There is our cardstock. I have to be diligent because this is quite a large piece of cardstock and I want to make sure that I stay in camera for you guys for the entire project. So we are going to burnish on all the score marks. That's always the first thing I do, is try and run my bone folder along all these score marks. It really helps. We're going to go this way as well. And we have one more, just the little 1/2 inch. And sometimes I move my mat when I do this burnishing, so hopefully I have everything still in camera. So this is what we're going to have. So we're going to have this little score line at the top, the 1/2 inch. We're going to have the other 1/2 inch on this side right here, okay? Just like that. So this score line at the top This is the 8.5 inch side, and this is the 9.5 inch side. So the short one that's on the top, and then this short one here are what we're going to use. This is going to be the flap of our box, and then this is what we're going to glue on. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the box first, and I like to use a thick bladed scissor. So we're going to cut the bottom first, and we don't need this long little rectangle piece, so we're going to just eliminate that. I'm going to cut along that score mark so that there's no thick seam there, and I am going to trim right here, so that piece is gone. Okay, and then this is the bottom of the box, and we're going to glue that closed. So I'm just going to trim on both sides of the score mark just to thin out my pieces so that when they overlap, they will fit nice and tight. So I like to cut on both sides because the score mark tends to be a thick piece, and I like my work to just lay. I'm just pulling right there. One more. So again, on both sides of that score line, and then we're going to trim that piece, that small piece, away. All right, so that is what we have so far. So we've cut this edge, and then in between these at the bottom. Now we're going to do the top. So we don't need this tiny square at the top or this rectangle piece at all. So let's get rid of those first. So we're going to come here, and we're going to get rid of these. Like that. Okay, that's what we have next. Now this piece right here is going to be our tab that's going to tuck in the box, this part right here. Okay, so we're going to angle cut that piece. So I'm going to do a little angle cut right here and an angle cut right there, because this is going to be the flap. I want the two sides to tuck into my box, but I don't want them the full length of this square right here. So I'm going to cut that on either side a little bit less than half. This would be half, so I'm going to make it a little bit shorter than half, and I'm going to cut that straight down. Okay, we're going to cut this part completely away. So now I have this flap, and I don't need this piece, so let's get rid of that. Okay, I didn't cut that straight. Let me straighten that up. There we go. So now this is the flap. In order for it to flap, it has to have another side. Okay, so I'm going to angle cut these pieces. They fit in the box better when they're angle cut, so I'm just going to cut straight down that line, and I'm going to angle cut this piece. That's the one flap. Let's do the same thing to the other side. Remember, we want it less, that would be half. We want it a little less than half, so I'm going to come straight down. I don't need this section right here at all, so this is all going to go bye-bye. I'm going to cut it on the side of the score line here to make this nice and straight. So that's gone. Now we're going to do the same thing we did on this side. So I'm going to cut on an angle, and then I'm going to cut that piece away to form that flap. We're going to do the same thing on this side. We're just going to cut right there. Now this is the top of our box, and so it's going to get tucked in. Okay, watch. This forms our box. These are our tabs that get tucked into our box, and this is the base. So you're just gonna glue just like that. This forms our cute little box. Isn't it precious? All right, so let's move the pieces, and you guys can get a screenshot of the entire piece cut out. Let me just move all of these little scraps that I cut away and discard those. All right, I'm gonna open it up for you guys to see. And if you want to grab a screenshot, that's what you have. All right, let's put a little glue. This little tab here is going to get glued in. I'm going to angle cut this just slightly so that when it glues in, I don't have that little bulk in the corner. Okay, So just a tiny little hair I took off of those ends. And so I'm going to turn this in. I'm going to put adhesive in. I'm going to bring this one right to it so that it will glue nice and flat. So we're going to grab our wet adhesive. I love this adhesive for boxes because it is very strong and it will keep our box nice and sealed. So there we go. I am going to put it flat. I'm going to bring this one to meet it. And I'm just going to run my finger along this seam. And I chose to put the seam in the front because I didn't want when you open the flap of the box for you to see that seam. And because it fits so seamlessly in here, I thought it was a no-brainer. So that's the front of our box. That way when you open your box, you don't, this seam's on the front and it kind of camouflages really well there. So now we're going to glue the bottom. And because this is the front of our box, this is our last piece that we're going to glue down. So we're going to put in our sides. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on each piece just so that it adheres nice. And I'm going to put on this very end some adhesive. So this is going to go down. This covers over the top. Now it's time for this. So again, I'm going to do a little wiggle in the middle. And then on this one, I'm going to go around the edges. And then that is our next piece. And then our last piece, same thing. And we're going to hold that in place. We don't want the bottom to open, right? We don't want it to have a flap on there because we don't want the cookies to come out through the bottom. We just want them to pop out through the top. So there is our box. Here's our flaps. Those are going to go inside, and this top flap there. Whoops, I forgot to stick that one in. There we go. And we'll see how our box stays nice and closed. Pretty awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Nutter Butters inside. It will help give me some stability when we do our belly band that we're going to wrap around the box. So these are the Nutter Butters. I'm just going to try and collapse these little sides really well. And once I do that, it will lay inside our box. So let's open our box. We'll put this flap in first. And then I'm going to turn these little corners in and press them down. And then, of course, you know, we want to put our flaps in and our front flap as well. Okay, so there is our little cookies. Make sure that we have it in there good. I don't know if that side is being pushed by that wrapper. I'm just going to hold it for a second. All right, so now that I have the cookie in here for stability, for gluing, I'm not going to worry about the top closing for right now. So we're going to take this, and we want this edge to be along the back seam. So I'm going to start it in the back, okay? I want the flap, when this comes around and it belly bands around, I want this edge to end on one edge of my box. I don't want it to be in the center. So I'm going to hold it there, and then I'm going to run my paper, and I'm just going to squeeze that corner just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay it flat, and I'm going to squeeze this corner on the front. And then I'm going to flip, and I'm going to squeeze this corner. Okay. And then I'm going to bring it back to where I was. And then I'm going to squeeze this last piece. Okay. So that's why I wanted the Nutter Butters inside. So it gave it some nice strong. Okay. So now we're going to glue this piece in first. Right here. And once that's glued, then we can glue this. And this is going to end up right on that side seam. So because it's on that seam, it's going to be awesome. No one's going to even notice that it's there. That's why I did it that way. So let's go ahead and glue this piece in first. So we're going to start here. I'm going to put adhesive on the back end. and especially right along that edge. And I want to make sure that this is centered in the center of my box. I'm going to slide it so that I have about the same amount of red at the bottom as I have on the top. If it's not exact, it's okay. Just close. So that's our first piece, and I'm just going to give it a nice press. Then I'm going to unwrap, okay? And I'm going to put adhesive on the next panel. And let that one grab. And then do the same thing. We're just kind of rotating, and having the Nutter Butters in there really helps so that you have something to press against, like that. And then we'll do our next piece. So you're just gonna work your way around, because when you put that crease on there, it really helps to keep it in place. So we're gonna just press that down, and then we have our last piece. And we'll go ahead and attach our adhesive onto our DSP. And this DSP, I cut it down to, I think it's 2.5 inches. Let me just double check. Oh no, it's 3 inches by 9 inches. Okay, so now I want to join this piece with the edge of my DSP so that it all is even, right? I don't want it to overlap like that. There we go. All right, so there is the back piece, just like that. All right, now let's decorate the inside so we can close our little box up. So for the inside, we're gonna do this cute little mouse, and it is on a smaller circle that's out of basic white cardstock. I have this cute little mouse here, and I need 2 peanuts because we want that to look like the Nutter Butters. And then it says, "What a happy day." And it's from this stamp set, this stamp right here. And I stamped it in Memento ink. Let me move my glue out of the way. And so we're gonna go ahead and ink this up. Stamp it onto this little scrap of Pacific Point. What a happy day. And it is a happy day when you get some Nutter Butters, isn't it? I just thought Nutter Butters was the perfect little treat to put in here because of the peanuts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our regular paper snips again, and we are gonna trim each of these words separately. Okay, so I'm gonna start by cutting the whole phrase, and then I'm gonna separate the words. So we have what, and then a, happy, and then day. And then once you have them cut, you're gonna trim them down to the size of the word. So we're just gonna go to the top and the bottom. So there's what. Let's do the word A. That one's tiny. You don't want to lose that one, so you got to hang on to it when you're cutting. And you don't have to separate yours if you don't want to. You could leave it together or cut it in pieces, like 2 words together. I chose to do mine separate, but it's your project and you can create it and make it yours by changing it up if you want. I thought it looked cute, all separate. All right. So here's our last word. So what a happy day. Let me clear out the Pacific Point cardstock, throw these scraps in my trash can, and I'm gonna bring in my mat and our 2 little peanuts. So let's go ahead and attach our little mouse first. And so we're gonna add some glue. I'm gonna use my tweezers to grab my mouse, and I'm gonna put the mouse on this right end. Celebrating. Let's put the peanuts next. So flip those over, and we're going to put adhesive on the back of the peanuts. There's one, and there's the other. And we're going to start with the first one, and we're going to lay it up like this by the foot, and we're going to lay this one sideways underneath the little mouse like that. And now we're going to do what a happy day. So I'm just going to flip them over so that I can add the adhesive onto the backs. All right. So we have what? And then A. Happy day. All right, so let's grab the tweezer and then we'll just position it wherever it looks good. So I'm gonna do what? A. Happy. Oh my gosh, how cute is this little mouse? And it is a happy day because this mouse is celebrating the Nutter Butters. So there's what a happy day. And let's put adhesive on the back of this cute little circle. And we're gonna go ahead and put that on the inside as a surprise. So when they open their little box of Nutter Butters, they will have this cute little mouse inside, saying, what a happy day. So I just thought that would be, it was a cute surprise to put on the inside. So now I want to make sure that these ends are in and that this is nice and flat. And make sure I have room for my tabs here. I'm going to slide those in. And slide in the front flap. There we go. I have it in there good now. All right, the way I position that, those pieces of the plastic there of the wrapper, it worked out. So there is the front. So now we are going to decorate our little elephant, and I have a video teaching you how to use your Stampin' Blends to shade this elephant just like this. Just the link is in the description below, so check that out. We also have Friends Forever, and we have all of these teeny tiny little peanuts we're going to put in here. Okay. So let's stick our elephant down first. He is going to get some dimensionals. I'm going to lift him up off of my card, off of this little circle. I'm going to put some minis over here. I want to make sure I'm going to put one more in on the top of his head there. So that's good. So now we'll add him first, and then we'll put the peanuts underneath him. So let's grab my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to use the pointy end here. I'm going to pull the backs off of my dimensionals. I'm also going to use some dimensionals on the back of this little flagged end. So I'm going to put 2 there. And we'll save that for later, but I'll have them on there ready to go. Let's put our little elephant. So cute. This elephant is precious. And then of course we have to fill all the little Nutter Butter cookie pieces underneath. So I'm just going to flip all of my peanuts over, and I cut quite a few of them. You get in the die, it comes with 3, and they're all attached. So you can cut 3 at a time. So it doesn't take very long to cut them out. We're going to go ahead and put our little glue on the backs of all of them. That way I can grab them without having to stop and put adhesive on them. I hope I have enough. There should be 7 of them, and there are. Here is my project so you guys can see. I'm going to try and place it as best I can, but you know, every time you make something, it's a little different, right? So we'll start with this one. We'll put it down here on the bottom. We're going to overlap a few peanuts. Put this one on the end, like that. Oh, I picked this one up with my finger, so I have a little glue on my finger. All right, so I'm going to put this one here. And then we have 3 more to go. So I'm going to lay this one right underneath here, top of the pile. And then we're going to put 2 more on this left side. We'll overlap this one here and 1 more. Aren't these just the cutest? This is just the cutest little stamp set. So there are our little peanuts underneath the elephant. And I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the back of this. I'll show you that in a second. But first I wanna go ahead and grab our ribbon. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. I'm gonna grab our box here, and I'm double attaching this ribbon. So I'm not exactly 100% sure how much I've used, but I definitely wanted to have, let me see if I can measure it. I wanted 2 lengths of this ribbon. So I will copy and see, and we can measure it if you guys want, so that you guys have an idea of how much I used. So there's 1 length, and then I'm gonna double it. And I'm gonna trim that end right there. All right, so this is the Tahitian tied. You get quite a bit of ribbon on this roll. It's 1/8 of an inch, and it's our metallic woven ribbon in the Tahitian tied color. You get 10 yards, so quite a bit. Definitely you can make quite a few of these little boxes. So let me put this one back together so that you guys can see it at the end. Let me put my flaps on the inside here, and we'll tie our little bow on the top. I just wanted you to see that cute little mouse inside. So because I have the 2 pieces of ribbon and I wanted to kind of separate them like this on the box, what I did to do that was use the dimensionals on the front to hold it down, okay? So I'm gonna show you that. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm just gonna take this and find my center. And I am going to go ahead and trim that loop so that I have 2 sets, okay? And once I have found my piece here, I'm just gonna lay it, and I'm just gonna let the ribbon lay where it wants to go. And we want it tight at the top, and then we're gonna widen this bottom section. But I wanna make sure my ribbon hasn't flipped, so it's okay if the box opens right now. We're just gonna make sure that the ribbon lays and that it lays straight, so it's not flipped. And we're gonna attach some pieces. I want it, like I told you, I wanted it tight at the top. So the top is gonna be taut like that. And then we're gonna widen the ribbon as we go. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna take my dimensionals. I'm just gonna grab one, and I'm gonna hold it right here at the top. And then I'm gonna open my piece just like that as it angles down. I'm sorry, I think I'm out of camera. I'm gonna move it up a little. All right, I think now I moved my ribbon. Yeah, I did. Okay, so let me make sure it's even. All right, so we're gonna have it tight at the top, and see how I widen that? So my elephant is gonna get put over this middle section. So I'm gonna use this dimensional to hold my ribbon in place right where I want it. I'm gonna get 2 more. I'm gonna put them close because, like I said, I want my ribbon to be wider at the bottom. So I'm gonna kind of separate those, and I'm gonna put a dimensional on each piece to hold it down. Now I'm gonna lay my little elephant on here, and he still needs some stability on these sides. So I'm gonna put 2 more dimensionals, 1 here and 1 here. And let me double check on him. And I think he's good. That's plenty of dimensionals. But you see, by putting the dimensionals on the ribbon, it helps hold my ribbon exactly how I want to hold it. So let's go ahead and pull the backs off of these dimensionals, and we'll stick him down. And then we're going to do the same thing with our words. So let's go ahead and stick our little elephant on our box, just like that. Now, the words Forever Friends, I'm gonna use that as well, and I'm gonna stick 1 on each piece of ribbon. Luckily I didn't push them down too hard on the back, so they peeled up nicely. And I'm putting those right there, and we're gonna peel the backs off of these, and then we'll add our words. And now that will help hold the ribbon in place. So we're gonna go ahead and attach that on. Find our center here. There we go, Friends Forever. His little friends inside with his cookies. So now we'll go ahead and slide that in. I'm gonna grab my ribbon and I'm gonna make sure that I have it even, and I pull that to the top. And then I'm going to grab my piece and cross it and make a cute bow. I don't want to tie a knot there so that they can open and close it if they would like to open and close it and just have a few cookies at a time. Look how cute that is. Let me measure. I forgot to measure when I cut it, but let's open this one and we'll measure this and see what length of ribbon we used. I have a ruler here. So it looks like that's 12 inches to right there. I'm gonna hold my finger on that. And then I'm gonna put my ruler there. So that's 24 inches. And then we have 4 more inches. So that's 28 inches times 2. So 56 inches of ribbon is what I used on this to get this look. So 56 inches. Let me tie this in camera. So 2 lengths of 28 inches gives you the look that I have here. I think it's super cute. I like that it's a big bow. And with 10 yards of ribbon, that is 360 inches. So you have plenty of ribbon to make these projects. Didn't it turn out so cute? This Elephant Parade bundle is just one of the cutest bundles in our annual catalog. Again, I paired it with the stylish shapes, so don't forget about those. Thanks for staying with me till the end of my video. I am very grateful to have you here with me on my channel. If you do not subscribe yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love a thumbs up if you liked my video, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I would love it if you would share my video. That's how I grow my channel, and I do give lots of love to my customers. So definitely thank you very much for being here with me. I appreciate you so much, and have a wonderful day. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping, guys.